But something that's very important to understand in all aspects of business, nobody actually buys what you sell. Like nobody buys a light bulb. They buy light. But then they don't even just buy light, they buy what the light gives them. The opportunity to do things at night, or to read their kid a bedtime story, or to cook dinner or whatever, right? Like that's really what they're looking for. What is your voice? You know, in our workshop, we say something like this. We say, if your brand was a well-known personality, who would it be and why? Certain customers come back and say like, oh, we're like Indiana Jones. We're adventurous and we are, seeking. We go out and find the treasure for our customers or what have you. I've had somebody say that they're Forrest Gump because they're loyal and they're sincere. We've had some say like Frank Sinatra, like sophisticated but kind of edgy, or I guess he probably was in his day. Anyway, it's an interesting thing to think about because it now starts to personalize your brand. And if you think about the greatest brands out there, you think about the most recognizable brands, the Nikes, the Teslas, the Apple. They have a personality. They have a vibe, they have a personality, and it's in everything that they do. So that doesn't need to be just reserved for big businesses, right? What's your brand voice? What's your brand identity? If your brand was a well-known person, who would it be and why? The other thing you got to realize with your brand is not only what do you sell, but what's the benefit of what you sell? And then what's the benefit of what you sell? See, it's really easy for businesses today to get really caught up in the products and services that they deliver. Like, oh yeah, I do HVAC, I do accounting, I do marketing, we make tennis shoes, whatever the case may be. Like, it's very easy for you to sit there and say, oh yeah, here's the doohickey and the service that we do. But something that's very important to understand in all aspects of business, nobody actually buys what you sell. Like nobody buys a light bulb. They buy light. But then they don't even just buy light, they buy what the light gives them. The opportunity to do things at night, or to read their kid a bedtime story, or to cook dinner or whatever, right? Like that's really what they're looking for. And so it's really important for you to understand what are the benefits, the deepest level of benefits that you have, that you provide, that your product provides, the benefit of the benefit of the benefit. And so that's important to realize, because then that's going to change all your marketing. Because now you're no longer saying like, buy my gizmo, buy my gadget, get 20% off. You're actually really serving people and solving problems. The other thing you got to understand about your business is, what is your economic driver? So what I mean is, see, revenue is actually an accounting exercise. Revenue is the result of all the things you did that at a given point in time, you say we created this much revenue. But there's actually always a main key driver to revenue, meaning that when this metric increases or changes or what have you, that it gets, it's a foreshadow to economic success. So like, for instance, if you had a retail store, and you're selling goods out of a store, it could be your economic driver could be foot traffic. If you've got maybe an online business, maybe it's the number of email subscribers or the number of social followers you have, but you got to look at your business and you got to understand like, wow, when this number goes up, this number goes up. And, so again, email, social, site visits, downloads, app downloads, all these different things that happen. So, because it's easier to adjust that number. If you know that your revenue goes in proportion to your email addresses, then it becomes a lot easier being like, wait a minute, how can I get more email addresses to join my newsletter, right? That's a lot more actionable than saying like, oh, how can I go make more money? Because now you've come downstream a little bit and you realize that this metric is what impacts upstream, and now you have a lot more opportunity and flexibility, or you can be more creative with how you push on that economic driver. And then number 4, what we've been talking about is your unique marketable position or your unique selling position, whatever you want to call it. But it's basically, what is the unique thing that you do better than anyone else? It is your thing. You are uniquely, and it's amazing because you don't realize this, but every single business should have a power statement that they are absolutely the best in the world at this thing. And you might be like, well, that's a grand, statement. But if you don't think you can be best in the world at it, you haven't defined it in a more detailed way. So for instance, like let's say accountant, we've said that phrase, right? Like for you to say I'm the best accountant in the world, or we have the best accounting firm in the world, yeah, that's a bold statement. But you could say I'm the best accounting firm in DFW. Okay, even that might be a bold statement. You could say we're the best accounting firm for small businesses that focus on e-commerce in the DFW area. Ooh, okay, now all of a sudden you are really zooming in, and you can now actually say like, yes, we're the best in the world at that. So now you know your unique thing, the thing that you do in the world, your unique value better than anybody else in the world. So that way, when you're selling to e-commerce brands in the DFW area, they come to you because you are the number one in that situation.